got heat spoil meat, water into my seed. Water into my seed.
And it came to pass 2 years later that the Pharaoh had a dream. In his dream, he was standing by a river, and in the river came out 7 fat cows, and they fed in a meadow. Then came 7 more cows out of the river, but they looked sick and malnourished, and the sick cows ate up the other 7 fat healthy cows. So the Pharaoh woke up from his dream, and he fell asleep again and had a second dream. In this dream, 7 healthy grains sprouted up, growing in stacks. Then there were another 7 grains, weak and unhealthy, and the weak ones swallowed up the healthy grains. The next morning he was troubled by his dreams, so he called all the magicians and wise men in Egypt. And the Pharaoh told them his dream, but no one could interpret his dream. Then the chief butler said to the Pharaoh, I remember when you were upset with me, and the baker and I, and sent us to prison. And there we dreamed dreams, and there was a young Hebrew man. He was a servant to the captain of the guard. And we told him our dreams, and he interpreted them. And they came to pass as he said. So the Pharaoh sent and called for Joseph. He came to Pharaoh with new clothes and shaved. And the Pharaoh said, I have dreamed a dream, and no one can interpret it. I have heard that you can interpret dreams. Joseph says, It is not me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. So Pharaoh tells Joseph both of his dreams with the cows and the grains. Then Joseph says to Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. God has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 healthy cows and grains are 7 years, and 7 sick cows and grains that came after them are also 7 years. That shall be 7 years of famine. Behold, there will be 7 years of great plenty throughout the land of Egypt. After will be 7 years of famine. All the plenty shall be forgotten, and the famine will consume the land. The famine will be very grievous. The dream was doubled because God has established it to come to pass shortly. Pharaoh, find a man wise and set him over the land. Let him appoint officers to gather a fifth in the good 7 years, gathering food and laid it up, and that food shall be stored for the famine, so Egypt will not perish. So the things were good in the eyes of Pharaoh and all his servants. Then Pharaoh said, Can we find a man as he who has the Spirit of God? Then Pharaoh says to Joseph, God has showed you these things. There is not a man that is more discreet and wise as you. You shall be over my house. Your words shall rule my people. Only in the throne will I be greater than you. See, I have set you over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring and put it on Joseph's hand, and gave fine linen, and put a gold chain around his neck. They bowed down and made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh gave him an Egyptian name, and a wife named Asareth. And Joseph was 30 years old when he was before Pharaoh. And Joseph went throughout all the land of Egypt. In the plenteous 7 years the earth was very fruitful, and he gathered all the food which was in the land of Egypt. And Joseph had 2 sons before the famine came. The firstborn was named Manasseh, and the second son was named Ephraim. The 7 plentiful years are ending, and the 7 years of famine is beginning. The people ran to Pharaoh, asking for bread. And Pharaoh said to the Egyptians, Go to Joseph and listen to what he says. So the famine was over all the earth. And Joseph opened up the storehouses and sold to the Egyptians. And all the countries came into Egypt to Joseph to buy corn because the famine was so great. If you haven't done so, please hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment letting me know how these videos are going. I just want to give all praises and glory unto the Most High God, Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, and say Shalom.